Hey, I thought I'd do a few more of these. Here I am doing my part. I need you at home doing your part. Okay, you need to know this formula by now. X is equal to, here is our A, our B is in the middle, here is -4, and our C is a 2. X is equal to a negative B. Since the B is a -4, then we have +4. Plus minus the square root. Your B squared is 16. I hope you remember that that number is always positive. Minus 4 times your A times your C. All of that is over 2 times your A, which is 2. 4 plus or minus the square root. The inside of that square root is going to work out to be an 8. The square root of 8 is 2 square roots of 2. That's something we practiced last week. We can reduce from this triangle of numbers here and get 2 plus minus 1, radical 2. Problem number 5 from your homework. Your A is a 1, your B is this -8 in the middle, and your C is that 13 on the end. X is equal to a negative B, that'll be a +8, plus minus the square root. Your B squared will be 64, minus 4 times your A times your C, over 2 times your A. 8 plus or minus the square root. 64 minus that 4, 1 and 13, make it 12. Oops. We have 8. The square root of 12 is 2 square roots of 3. We can reduce from that triangle of numbers and end up with a 4 plus minus 1, radical 3. Problems always seem to work out the same when we have an A that's a 1 and we have a B that is an even number. Problem number 11. X is equal to a negative B, which will be a +2, plus or minus the square root. Your B squared will be a 4, plus, sorry about that, minus 4 times your A times your C. Equal to 2 plus minus the square root of 180 over 2 equals 2 plus minus. The square root of 180 is 6 radical 5 over 2. If you have problems reducing those radicals, you need to see me. But that's something we've already practiced, so I just went ahead and did that. Reduce from a triangle of numbers, we're going to end up with 1 plus minus 3 square roots of 5. That is an ugly plus minus. 1 plus minus 3 square roots of 5. Problem number 17. X is equal to a -4, negative B, plus or minus the square root of our B squared, 16, minus 4 times the 1 times the -2 on the end, the C value, divided by 2 times your A. -4 plus minus the square root, that's going to give us 24 inside. Equals -4 plus minus 2 square roots of 6 over 2. And we can reduce that triangle of numbers again. -2 plus minus 1, radical 6. Here we have an odd B value. This will work out a little different. X is equal to a negative B plus minus, but the formula is still the same. Your B squared minus 4 times the A times the C, -14. And all that's over 2 times the A, which is 2 again. -5 plus or minus the square root. 81 over 2. 81 is one of those perfect numbers. -5 plus minus 9. The square root of 81 is 9. We'll branch. We'll go negative 5 plus 9 over 2, and negative 5 minus 9 over 2. Negative 5 plus 9 is positive 4. Positive 4 over 2 is 2. Negative 5 minus 9 is negative 14. Negative 14 over 2 is negative 7. What this tells me by working out nicely like that this problem would have factored. Number 29. Here we have an a value that is not a 1, it's a 3. Your b is a 5, and your c is a 1. Still the same formula. X is equal to a negative b plus minus the square root, your b squared, minus 4 times the a times the c. All of that is over 2 times the a, which is 6 this time. Negative 5 plus minus the square root, 13. Square root of 13. 13 is a prime number. That's as far as we can go. Yeah. Number 32. Here we have an a value that's a 5. Still the same formula. X is equal to a negative b, which would be a positive 6, plus minus the square root. B squared will be 36. 36 minus 4 times the a times the c over 2 times the a, which would be 10. 6 plus minus the square root. 56 over 10. 6 plus minus the square root of 56 is 2 radical 14 over the 10. We can reduce from our triangle of numbers by taking out a 2, and we're left with 3 plus minus 1 radical 14 over a 5. Number 35 is a little different because we do not have it already equal to 0. We'll need to do that. So we'll need to subtract 2x over here, and we'll need to subtract 5 over there also. So the problem that we're going to have to work with is 3x minus 2x minus 5 equal to 0. A is a 3 this time. X is equal to a negative b, which would be a positive 2, plus minus the square root. Your b squared, 4, minus 4 times the a times the c. All of that over 2 times the a, which would be 6. 2 plus minus the square root. We end up inside with that. $64, which is a good number, over 6. This will be 2 plus minus 8 over 6. Because it works out, we'll need a branch. 2 plus 8 over 6, and 2 minus 8 over 6. 2 plus 8 over 6 is 10 over 6, which will reduce down to 5/3. Two minus 8 is negative 6 over 6, which will reduce down to a negative 1. Hey, hope you have a nice day. Study, study, study.